Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And in today's discipline journey, we're going to take a look at how I actually set everything up. So this is TradingView. I have two indicators that I use that I'll go over in just a second, but this is how I start the day every day. Is I come in and I look at the range that we're in, like this is the high, this is the low. This is today's candle, so ignore this, and this is what has happened since the market has opened for today. But when I came in today, I saw this candle here, and then the pre-market high was here and pre-market low was here. So all of this has happened um, from here down since the market was opened all the way down there and back up. So when I start the day, I look at this and I look at what I'm seeing in the bigger picture. This is the daily time frame. I draw um, fair value gaps and things like that. That would be upside targets to look at, and then downside targets as well. And then once I get a picture of the daily, which you can see we've done a lot over the last little bit, and we've been in this downtrend, but we're still in an uptrend, but we're in a downtrend over the last few days, or a few weeks rather. So I started the daily, then I dropped to the 4 hour to just see if there's anything different that I'm seeing or anything like that. Now, this morning I was doing some drawings, that's why you'll see some things pop up here, but I've kind of removed some of them to show you what I would be putting in and how I would be going about it. Some of them I also done on Tradeovate when I was trading, so that's a little bit different. But right here, what I'm seeing on the 4 hour is we have a fair value gap right here. So what I do when I see those, I just come up and I drag it down to there to try to encompass that gap, and then if I can, I will actually fine tune it on a lower time frame if that's a possibility. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, it just depends. So right now this is a gap that I would be looking at price to push back up into and then reject from if we're going to keep going lower, or push back up and go all the way through it if we're going to go back higher. So you can see I got another 4 hour gap back here that hasn't been hit. Oh, I didn't do the template. There we go. I've got another one back here that hasn't been hit yet. We've got this shelf up here that hasn't been hit yet. So there's a few upside targets that we can trade into, and you'll see some other targets up here that I had the other day, as well as some lower ones here. So then after the 4 hour, I drop to the 1 hour, and then this is where I look at what's been going on. I'm going to kind of do this because we don't know what's going on before the pre-market here. And you can see we're just kind of in this range through here. This week low actually moved down to here. So it didn't save it from my iPad. I was on my iPad at the office and using my computer now. So the week low was shifted down to here. Below this, the body on this one right here, because that was now the low. So in a downtrend, we have a weak low and a strong high, and that's because we've not got anything really holding us. We're in the downtrend. So if you're in an uptrend, you have a strong low and a weak high. So this is what I was seeing this morning. This was from the other day. This was the pre-market, and then we sold out really hard through here right before the market opened. So then let's go down to the 15-minute. I don't really do the 30-minute. I just do the 15-minute and then ultimately the 5-minute. So I'm going to move this back over to 9:15. So this was all pre-market right here. So you can see there's really not a lot going on. We're just kind of trading right along this, what I had as my strong high area through here, and then we sell down and we kind of pushed up back into it and sold down, pushed back into it and sold down. So the bias today was down because of what I was seeing, but I also looked at it and said, okay, we're up, we've gapped up, we've got this gap to worry about. So now this is what I was going to do with this was a 4-hour fair value gap that I had drawn. And if you just back out a little bit on the 15-minute, you can see now we have this gap here. So now market had opened, let's see, that's 9:30 right there. So let's see right here, at about right here, this candle had no wick on it, and we have this gap. So at 9:30 we had at market open, we had a gap that looked like this, that I was looking for us to trade into at least halfway and then look for a reaction of some sort when it actually played out. But again, we were kind of in this range through here. We were at the high of the range. In a downtrend or an uptrend, one of the things too to look at is when you're in a range, if you get to the high, and this is your high, you can go short there. You can try to go long at the low as well, but you have to be wary on a weak low. It could break either way. But typically, if you're in a downtrend, you want to go on the strong side. Every time price pushes up into it, you can short it back down. You don't want to be taking trades in the middle of this area between the ranges here. So then I do one more level down, and I go to the 5 minute, and then I look and see what I can see on the 5 minute, and nothing really changed. This was the gap. This was still here. This 4 hour value gap, fair value gap was still here, and price started to sell off. This is the 925 candle right there. So you can see price started selling down, we pushed back up and sold down again. So then the next step of what I do is I turn on two different indicators that I use. These are paid indicators, but one of them gives me risk potential and bigger targets. So actually, let me clean this up a little bit. I'm gonna turn this one on. So this is the one that gives me the bigger targets. So this one was saying an entry right here, where this dotted line is, where my stop was when I actually did take the entry, with a stop just above the range. This is the high of the range, and this is the low of the range of the 15-minute orb. You can see we traded down, up, down, big up and back down, and then a smaller one, and then we actually broke through. Now the target on this is way down here, and we're not there yet. So we wouldn't have hit it or anything. So it's kind of a different beast to trade there, so we won't get too far into that. But this is the primary one that I use, and this one tells me the entries. You've probably seen other videos where I have this in here, but I've not really talked a lot about it. So what we have here is bands. There's an upper band, a lower band, and the middle band. And we kind of go based off of all of the information that I've built up till now for my trade direction, and then what I'm looking at in the market for what I want to do. So you can see we got the S1 here. This is the 5 minute candle that broke down. I did not enter right here. And the reason I didn't is because this kind of looked a little bit overextended, but we did have, down, 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 small up, down, small up, and then down. But this candle, I really wanted to retest back to the orb, and we just didn't get it. So what I did instead is we sold down, then we pushed back up. I'm going to flip to the 1 minute here just so I can show you what I was kind of seeing as we were going through. Come on. All right. On the short entry that we have here, you can see we came down. This was tapping on orb, and then we just slammed through. So there was two things on the 1 minute that I saw. This is actually, I'm just going to delete these. We already have these in mind from what I talked about. So this is a 6 bar play right here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles down. And this was the 959 candle right here. So I said, okay, that's a good sign, but we're still way down through here. So on my 1 minute, I had a shelf right through here that I wanted to do something with, and I actually included that little wick right there. So I was really hoping that we would pull back up to here and sell off, and we didn't. We kind of pulled up a little bit, and then we sold off again. Then we kind of chopped, and then we sold off again. So then, as we're doing this, I'm getting a little bit nervous about being overextended, but I had a fair value gap right here that we pushed up into, and tapped into it right here, and this was right at that week low, and I just didn't take the short here. I don't remember why now. Again, I was looking at everything on my iPad this morning and then trading on my computer. I didn't want both things. I wanted to be able to see both at the same time, so I traded bait up on the computer. But I don't remember why I didn't take this trade when we wicked up into here. This was a prime entry right here, and then we sold down. So I did enter when we broke down below here. I kind of boxed this out. So obviously here's the fair value gap there. But what I did is I boxed all this in, and I said, okay, this is range. I want to see us break this range, and then when we do, I'm going to get in. And we were on the midline right here, so I wasn't too worried about being too far away and rubber banding back, because we were just pulling this midline down the whole way on the 1 minute. On the 5 minute, I can switch it. Here, and you can see on the 5 minute, this was just one big doji kind of candle. Same here. And the break of this is what I was looking for on the 1 minute. Oh my gosh, come on. And that's where I got my entry from, was we broke down below that, and I got entered in on that. I had my stop up here, which was above this shelf and fair value gap, and then also a little bit above this shelf right here. So really what I was looking at was this gap here, and then the fair value gap right in here, and this shelf. So it was like one big box that I was looking at for having my safety, we'll say. So as you can see, we entered, we sold off, and we just never really, it never even really came back. Now, I did not adjust this. I did end up taking this off as we pushed down, because I was nervous with these candles here that we were going to reverse. So I did take it off at about half of my risk. It was like 150 bucks. Let's say 0.5 R maybe. Yeah, somewhere right in there. I kind of took it out, and then we sold off even harder. So 150 bucks on the day, nothing too big, but playing it safe. It would have been full TP had I entered when the actual S1 went off and took the full trade, and I could have went for more, but today's Monday, no data. I was just kind of nervous about whipsawing and going back into this range that we had on the 4 hour. I don't know why it's not taking me to the actual area, but I was kind of nervous about us getting back up into, shows better on this, hitting this weak low down here and then kind of coming back up, because this, with the way this is right here, this could still be an uptrend, because we hadn't broken it yet. We have now, but as of this morning we hadn't, and this could have just been one big wick, and we could have went green on the candle and went back higher. So it was a little bit too much risk for me to sit around and wait for today. So hopefully you learned something about the strategy that I do, and hopefully you see kind of where my mind is when I'm looking at these things. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll come back tomorrow if the market gives us a trade.